For our tikkun on Shavuot last Sunday night, four of our rabbis here discussed different aspects of the writings of Abraham Joshua Heschel. My topic was about Heschel's understanding of Jewish prayer. As I said last Sunday night, Heschel pointed out that most of the prayers in our prayer book are actually songs of praise to God. As Heschel often said, we should view the world around us with radical amazement. "Look," he would shout, "the sun is coming up. Isn't the sky magnificent in the morning light?" Before drinking a glass of water, he would say a blessing of thanks to God for providing abundant water to drink, and then savor the refreshing, cool liquid on his tongue. Judaism, he said, teaches us how even the gratification of animal needs can be an act of sanctification. The enjoyment of food may be a way of purification. Something of my soul may be drowned in a glass of water when its contents are gulped down as if nothing in the world mattered except my thirst. But we can come a bit closer to God when remembering him still more in excitement and passion. The blessings that we recite before and after we eat some food or drink some liquid, all of the early morning blessings, Birkot HaShachar, the Psukei de Zimra, the verses of song that we sing in the early morning service, all of these are songs of praise and thanks to God for the gifts of life and the wonders of the world. Even when a prayer seems to be asking something of God, we're not, in my opinion, asking God to grant us supernatural favors. We're praying for health, for sustenance, to be able to perform meaningful labor that gives us satisfaction and provides for our needs, or to promote justice and kindness in the world. But in my view, these are really prayers that remind us of the truly important things in life. These prayers do at least two very important things. First, we're reminded of what is important in life and what is merely a trivial desire. It reminds us that there is a difference between needs and wants. Certain things are necessary in life. Other things are nice, but we can live without them if necessary. And the second thing is we are reminded we are God's partners, God's agents in the world, and it is our responsibility to help make these necessary things happen. God can be our inspiration or a source of strength, but we must be the actors who perform these necessary tasks. This week's Torah portion includes one of the first blessings recorded in Jewish literature, the priestly blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Moses' brother Aaron and his sons are the priests in the Israelite community, and it was their responsibility to bless all the people. And this was the blessing they were to recite. It has become a part of our morning service at the end of the repetition of the Amidah. Since we didn't do a full repetition, we didn't do it this morning, but you can find it right before Sim Shalom, which is on page 191 in the prayer book. And it's also a blessing that we give our children every Friday night at dinner, and we use it on a number of other occasions as well. It is composed of 3 parts, 3 verses. The first verse has 3 words, the second verse has 5 words, and the third verse has 7 words, right? There's a certain poetic structure to this, 3, 5, 7. And each verse has the same internal structure, a verb followed by God's name, and then a second verb. In Hebrew, the subject of the sentence often follows a verb, unlike in English. So that's why God's name appears as the second word in the verse, and a direct translation would sound awkward. So I'm going to try and translate this in the modern English a little bit. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, may God bless you and watch over you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka, may God's light shine upon you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom, may God always turn his face towards you and grant you peace. Now, in temple times, this would be performed on a duchan, which is a platform. And so that gave rise to the expression duchanin. If you have been to an Orthodox congregation where the Kohanim, the priests, get up and do this prayer as part of the morning service, they sometimes call it duchaning, because the duchan, the platform that the priest would do it on, was called a duchan. And it's sometimes also called nisiyat kapayim, because that means raising up of the hands. Because when the priests do it, they raise their hands up like this, and in the form of Mr. Spock on Star Trek, they split their fingers like so. That creates, by the way, the letter Shin in the Hebrew alphabet. And of course, Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock, was Jewish, and he learned how to do that when he was a kid. He saw it done, and he thought it'd be really cool if Vulcan did that as their form of greeting. So the priests would perform this ritual every day in the temple, twice every day, at the morning service and the afternoon service when the communal sacrifices were offered. In the synagogue, it serves as the introduction to the blessing Sim Shalom, as I mentioned a minute ago. Why is it there? Because the priests did it after the sacrifice. The sacrifice was replaced by our Amidah, and so when we come to the end of the Amidah, we do the priestly blessing as the priests did in the temple times. In essence, the priests are blessing is asking God to bestow God's blessings on you and to watch over you, to shine on you, or I would say to enlighten you with wisdom and to grant you grace and serenity, something that is so often lacking in this crazy, mixed-up world. And then to grant you shalom, peace and contentment with what you have and who you are. This is the quintessential Jewish prayer, and it really captures the essence of what is necessary in life. In these days, you don't have to be a priest to offer this blessing to someone else. As I said, we do it for our children every Friday night, and the leader of the service can do it during the service here, doesn't have to be a priest. This morning, we have been blessed by 12 Jewish adults leading our service. Each of them wrote a short essay about their experience in the class and why they chose to work as hard as they did so they could lead this service this morning. And we have posted their essays on our website, and we have some paper copies here. If some of you would like to take one home with you, we'll give them to you after the service. But I just wanted to say a few words about each of them now. The Vallarta family all chose to become Jewish 2 years ago. They discovered Judaism and fell in love with it. And they have been diligent in their studies. Rodolfo and Sandra have 4 sons. 3 of them are over the age of 13, Emilio, Hector, and Hugo. And all 5 of them chose to work very hard this year to learn their prayers so they could help lead this service last night and also this morning. Their youngest son, Juan, is also here. And when he becomes 13, he's going to have his bar mitzvah at the age of 13. Emilio, Hector, and Hugo have also been participating in our Kehila High School program, and Juan is in our religious school program. Summer Rabino converted to Judaism 3 years ago. She wanted to be part of our adult B'nai service 2 years ago, but life intervened. That happens sometimes. So she's been coming to services regularly all this time, and especially during the pandemic, watching them online. And she did a beautiful job this morning, as everybody saw. Aiden and Lori Bloomis joined the people less than a year ago. They took my class last year, which was interrupted by the coronavirus, so we continued it online. And they were part of our intrepid group that went out to Galveston for the mikvah. They've been also coming to services regularly online this past year. Ann Nunes has been a member of Beth Yeshurun all her life, but girls didn't have bat mitzvahs when she was 13, and she always wanted to do this. She's been a regular at our services for as long as I've been here, and I'm sure for all her life. And she also has been coming regularly to our adult learning program on Sunday mornings, year after year. Leah Schultz, there's Leah, has also been a member of Beth Yeshurun nearly all her life. And again, girls didn't have a bat mitzvah when she was 13. She has wanted to have a bat mitzvah for several years. Finally, it seemed like this was the right year to do it. Sadly, her husband, Billy, died only a month ago, but we know he's with us here this morning in spirit. Leah worked with Cantor Wagner many years ago, so she already was very familiar with all these prayers. And then Lisa Trimarchi and Suzanne Rickles are both members of Brit Shalom. Each year we have one or two members, each time we do this, we have one or two members from Brit Shalom because they don't have an adult B'nai Mitzvah program. And I know there are some members here from Brit Shalom giving them support and encouragement. Both of them were also members of the Houston Reconstructionist Chavurah before they joined Brit Shalom, and we welcome them here to the Bima this morning. Each of these students really has put in a lot of hours of learning, preparing, studying, and singing. It was a challenging year, as we all know, with the pandemic. We had to hold nearly all the classes online. They not only worked really hard with Diane to learn their prayers, how to read the Torah and Haftarah, but they also learned about the prayers service with me in several class sessions. And they have been a great blessing to us. Speaking of blessings again, they have been a great blessing to us in leading the service this morning. And we know that they will continue to be a blessing in our community. Diane and I and all of us are very proud of all of them, and we hope that they will continue their studies because there's always more to learn in the Jewish tradition. It's now our pleasure to formally confer upon all of you the title of Bar and Bat Mitzvah, becoming a full participant among the Jewish people. In that sense, I feel it's a little bit like the Wizard of Oz at the end of the movie, in which he points out to Dorothy's friends that they really already had intelligence, compassion, and courage. What they lacked was the diploma, the Medal of Honor, and the heart-shaped clock that ticks. In other words, a formal recognition of the character you already possess. Indeed, every Jew over the age of 13 is automatically a bar or bat mitzvah, someone considered responsible to preserve and pass along the Jewish tradition. But our service this morning formally recognizes the commitment that each of you has made to do just that. We do have a special certificate for you, just like the Wizard of Oz, that will memorialize this momentous occasion. And it has been signed by all the rabbis and cantors. And we also have a gift for each of you that will symbolize your commitment to Jewish learning, a copy of our movement's commentary on Pirkei Avot, a collection of statements of wisdom from the sages of the Talmud. And now, I'm going to invite the class and the Cantor Finkelstein to gather under the ark as we give you the priestly blessing between us. And everyone, please rise.
Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. Yair Adonai panav elecha v'yichuneka.
May God's light always shine upon you and be gracious to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yaseh lecha shalom.
May God always be mindful of you and grant you peace and happiness now and always. Amen.